Hey folks, you know that Smash Up is one of my favorite games. I like it. There's lots of great factions in it, and someday I'm going to do a top 10 factions from Smash Up. But today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 minions from Smash Up. There's two types of cards, minions and actions. I'll be doing a top 10 list for both of them. But the top 10 minions, I love all the different creatures from the different factions. Which ones are my favorites? Let's look. All right, number 10 is Furious George, which I have to admit is partially because of his name. I think the name is very funny, and there's a lot of good jokes about him killing the man in the yellow hat or so on. However, his special ability is really useful. He's +1 power for each action played on it. The cyber monkeys already have actions that you can play. You mix him in a deck where there's other actions you can play on someone, like, let's say, the dinosaurs, and get a +2 power, which makes him +3, turns him into a 5. I don't know, I like that. I like that the more enhanced he is, the better he gets. And there's several of these in the deck. Then we have Tinks. Tinks is a fairy here who can transfer an action played in another minion to this one, which actually makes her really deadly against Furious George because she can just steal whatever he has on him. But that's really neat. If someone else has an action on them, any character in the game, Tinks has the ability to steal it. And so you can not only have combos from your own deck, but have a combo built from somebody else's. Then we have Queen Fluffy. Now, I'm not a cat fan even in the slightest degree. However, I do like her talent where she can take control of a minion of power 3 or less until the end of the turn. Very useful to take control of somebody else. Every turn you can pull this off. I've always liked special abilities where you can take over someone else anyway, but this is even better, especially if that person themselves has a talent. Then one of the biggest characters in the game, General Ivan. His ongoing special ability where your minions can be destroyed is just amazing. There's a lot of different factions which are all about killing minions. The pirates, the ninjas, they can come after and take out different minions. Well, with Ivan, you are essentially immune to that. And I will sometimes stick Ivan on a base without any intent to finish that base off. But just so simply his special ability comes into play, especially if you get a bunch of smaller minions maybe in a mixed up deck with that. Then we have the Count. The Count is basically just your blood-sucking guy. Anytime anyone's minion is destroyed, he gets a +1 power counter on him, which is a huge deal because minions are going to be destroyed quite a bit in this game. And if the Count can make that happen, so much the better. The Count is great to mix with the pirates, or I'm sorry, with the ninjas, because they're killing minions right and left, and so the Count just gets stronger and stronger. Then we have Microbot Alpha. Very powerful person. This is for newbies. I always like to give them the robot deck because it just seems so powerful, mostly because of this card, where he's +1 for all your other microbots, and then all your minions are considered microbots. So mix them with a zombie deck. Make all your zombies microbots. Mix them with your fairies. Make them all microbots. It doesn't matter. And this guy's really powerful when he comes out. And of course, I can't not have this guy in a deck. I mean, what am I supposed to say? He's a 7. That's just really cool. He's big. He's the biggest character in the game. No special ability. But his picture's really cool, too. A T-Rex with missiles on his back. All right, but he's not my favorite. My third favorite here, very easy for this one, the only character in the game who straight up just gives you a victory point for playing. The Invader, just put him down. He's good by himself. I don't care if he dies. I don't care what else happens to him. I play him just to get the victory point. In fact, the faster he's killed, the faster he gets off the table, the faster he gets back in my deck, and maybe I can pull him again and play him and gain another victory point. This one will irritate people more than any other card, I think. Then we have the Mimic. I love the Mimic because his power is equal to the highest power printed on a minion card in play. And if you mix the Mimic with the dinosaurs and you say, oh, well, now I have 2 7s, not just 1. That is crazy awesome. And I like that. It's interesting that both my favorite minions are from the same faction because the other one is the Copycat here, who apparently also encourages you to travel around the world at beaches. But anyhow, this guy can copy anyone else's ability. And so there are a lot of great abilities. He can copy the Count's ability we just had. These two make that well, I guess I'm giving away, that's my favorite faction, the Shapeshifters, but it's because of these two guys. They're my 2 favorite minions. I love copying other stuff on the table. That's a lot of fun. So anyway, those are my 10 favorite minions. I'm quite certain you have different factions different minions that are your favorites. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys think. But I'll tell you that it's really interesting as I go through all the factions. I'm like, I don't like this faction that much, but I'll find a minion in there that I like very much. And one of the cool things about Smash Up is mixing it together to see how the minions interact with one another. And a faction may not seem so interesting, but if you get a minion with certain actions from other decks, they can be that much better. So anyhow, one of the cool things about faction is how unique all the different people feel. And if you notice, you look at these minions, they're not that unique and weird and have all these weird special abilities. They're very basic abilities, and yet they still manage to feel distinctly different. Also great art. Anyhow, let me know what you think in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.